Is that a month? It's bi-monthly, right?
Yes, monthly.
Bi-monthly.
The military is in much worse shape than it was when I left office in terms of the readiness of the forces to do anything to respond to a national security crisis. We have used the Army, the Marine Corps, the National Guard, the reserves. We are now sending Navy reservists trained with the trained in Army infantry tactics for just a few months to the Iraq theater. A lot of people don't know this. We are sending Navy reservists to the Iraq theater, including the young man who runs our home in New York, who was a cook in the White House mess, a career Navy guy, went to the reserves and came to help us because Hillary and I are gone all the time. And he was deployed to Kuwait about a month before Christmas. Now, he's very proud to serve. Whether he agrees with the policy or not, he's a career military servant. He's fine, he's proud to serve. But that's not the point. All these Navy people were trained so that America would at least have a reserve ground force, because we had used up the Marine Corps and the Army. And now we're sending the reserve to Iraq. We got to stop this. The Commandant of the Marine Corps said last week, this leads into the last point, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, not the Democratic candidate for president or somebody in the Congress who's leading the anti-war forces, the Commandant of the Marine Corps said, I know we need more Marines in Afghanistan to fight the Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and to keep them from overturning the moderate Muslim democracy in Afghanistan, which the whole world is for. He said, I'd be happy to send 3,500 more Marines there, but I cannot leave them there unless they let me bring some of our Marines home permanently from Iraq. And keep in mind, that is the front line of the real war on terror. So when the Commandant of the Marine Corps is telling you that, the rest of the country better listen. So if you vote for Hillary, you'll get a member of the Armed Services Committee, widely respected by senior military people, widely supported by a lot of retired military people, committed to bring this war to a close in a way that rebuilds the military, takes care of the veterans, and doesn't run off from the fight against Al-Qaeda. That, I think, is the right position for America. That is her position. I hope we support her. But remember what I said before, that's not our only problem in the world. So here's the other thing I want to tell you. If you vote for her, you'll get a very different message to the rest of the world. Here's what she will say. If you elect her, she will say to the whole world, America is back. America is back. America is back in the cooperation business. America is back in the diplomacy business. From now on, we're going to cooperate with you whenever we can and act alone only when we have to, not the other way around. From now on, we'll have diplomacy with friend and foe alike whenever we can, and military force will only be used as an absolute last resort, not the other way around. So, that's my case for her. That's my case for her. It is the power of speeches over the power of solutions. You have to decide. The lure of excitement over the lure of empowering all Americans to make the most of their own lives. But it is solutions which unlock the future. America is always about the future. And we got some serious problems here. And there are some substantial differences. She's the only one for universal health coverage. On this housing crisis, she is the only candidate, and this was true when they were all in the race, all the Republicans and all the Democrats, the only candidate who says there should be a 90-day moratorium on foreclosures. Every single house mortgage, these subprime mortgages should be reviewed. Everybody that's making their mortgage payment that was honest about their assets and has nothing to do with the failure and collapse of the market should be guaranteed they can keep that same monthly mortgage payment for 5 years. Every state should be given a fund of about $30 billion for the whole country to go in and work with these mortgage companies and split the difference on the cost to keep them there. Because if the mortgage company has to repossess the house, it will cost the economy about $250,000. And the mortgage company will never sell a house again for the same price, right? So they're better off taking a little hit and splitting it with us, the taxpayers, than taking a big hit on their own. and letting 1 million of your fellow Americans and their families be thrown out into the street. I promise you, her position is far less costly than doing what everybody else is trying to do, because 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, we'll be spending $300 or more billion to clean up a mess, and then you'll have 1 million homeless families who will be renters for the rest of their lives and never participate in the American dream. That's one of the things you hire a president for, to keep big bad things from happening. And one of the reasons she ought to do it.